The first question is, of course, you have a diversity of clients, but I'm curious if, there are themes in terms of what you see holding your clients back.
Yeah, there is. So first and foremost, it's self-doubt. And I would say a real fear of failure.
Hmm.
Um, I think another big factor with my clients is that they don't actually know what they're even capable of or what the options even are. As weird as that sounds, most people don't know they can exit with a package if they proactively raise their hand to exit. Most people are shocked, mic drop, when I tell them that when you are exiting an organization, especially in today's environment,
Mm.
you should be saying, hey, I think it's time for me to move on. I know you're in a tough place financially. How about we make this work for both of us? And I raise my hand for a package. It is, I have not had a single client where their company has said no. So there are unknowns.
Mhm.
The other big unknown is that people don't realize they can negotiate. They don't realize that they should be in the driver's seat
Yeah.
and they should be having the conversations that matter. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't know I could negotiate for the first 20 years of my career. Honestly, I thought I needed to do good work and the money would come.
Mm.
Or I was in a sales environment. I sold cars to pay for college, and the money that I earned was based on me, how much I sold, the relationships I built. So I walked in thinking that the company, like when I moved into a corporate environment, I had zero clue
Yeah.
what that structure was, what that stood for. And I just assumed, wow, they made me an offer. Great. I'll take it. I'm excited. I'm hungry. Let's rock and roll. And then every year they gave me more money or they gave me a promotion. And I was like, wow, this is looking really good.
Mhm.
I really didn't get it. And then when I did get it, some years in, I realized that, or I was told that women are terrible negotiators. So I had in my head, A, I didn't know I could. B, well, I'm probably bad at it because I'm a woman.
Oh.
And if I did want to try, I was afraid they might see me as greedy,
Mm.
that they might say no or think that it was more about the money than it was about the work. And I am not unique. This is very much every client that I talk to, almost every person that I talk to, every cocktail party I go to, every barbecue I go to. There is a lot of uncertainty, and therefore they choose to back away and not ask,
Mm.
because that's just easier, or they make assumptions that my company is going to take care of me, and that's just not a reality.
And do you work mostly with women, or are you working with men and women?
I work with both.
Yeah.
A couple, last year I worked with a CEO and an automotive technician and everything in between.
Mhm.
Women are more attracted to me somehow. I must be resonating with my content. I'm a big content creator on LinkedIn. So more women seem to come my way, but I am certainly completely inclusive, and work with the people who are attracted to me are the ones who are hungry and who want to grow, and so that's men and women.
Have you noticed some of those trends? Like the women you're working with, are they like categorically having a harder time with negotiation than the men, or is it just that negotiation's kind of hard for anyone in that like employed position?
Statistically, less than 50% of people are negotiating, so that's men
Yeah.
and women. So there's a large pool of
Yeah.
people. It's just a question of whether you want to ask for help or not, or whether you want to get unstuck. So the women that I work with meet those stats, and the stats for women are less than 30%, and that number is even lower for people of color. So it's really just a question of what do you want to do about it. And everyone that I meet struggles with formulating the story
Yeah.
and formulating, how do I first of all do the market research and make sure that I'm even asking for what I'm worth, or what the market is paying. Most people don't do that.
Mhm.
And secondarily, how do I frame it in a way that comes across really genuine, really authentic,
Mhm.
and as a win-win? So the one of the most important things we do in prepping for a negotiation is creating that win-win environment, because you don't want to walk in guns a-blazing. This is not a win-lose scenario, but most people have been taught, and
Mhm.
whether that is through the movies or television, through what we know of attorneys, there's a winner and a loser when it comes to negotiation. And in this case, there is no loser unless there's aggressive or inappropriate behaviors, or you don't want to start your relationship off as the employer or the employee in this ugly fight.
Yeah.
You want to start this off as, how do we create a win win here? You want me, I want you. We're ready to rock and roll and
Yeah.
get started. So, how do we have this conversation that feels really good for both of us?
Mhm.
And I will guide my clients to say that at the beginning of the conversation, and then stop talking and
Right.
see what the person on the other end says. I will throw in one last really critical, fundamental thing that people need to know. And is one of the reasons, we're talking about fear and self doubt and the reasons why they don't ask. Everyone on the other end is expecting you to ask.
Mhm.
That's critical to know as a
Mhm.
CHRO who's made
Mhm.
thousands and thousands of offers.
Yeah.
And statistically, I think the number is approximately 90% of the time when you ask, you will get more.
Yeah.
Not to say for sure you're going to get everything you've asked for,
Yeah.
but you will get more 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So you've got two big wins. The person's expecting it, and
Yes.
90% of the time they're going to say yes to something.
Yes.
So what are you waiting for?
Right. Oh man, that's so there's so much in that.